The problem is huge.
When they approach me, it's not, oh, I'm just checking on what's going on over here. It's like, what are you doing?
The whole system is just built off of systemic racism.
I'm Carolina Galeano, and this is Outlook Montgomery. It is clear the recent deaths of Black men and women at the hands of police officers have sparked a wave of activism.
I have been inundated with inquiries from our community, asking questions and demanding the way they want to see things done in Montgomery County compared to other parts of the country. And it's the opportunity for us to have this dialogue has been awesome.
Really listen to the people, because right now the pushback is, as law enforcement, we need to tell the people how we do our jobs, what we do, why it's so dangerous. And while you are talking, generally you're not listening. So police departments, police leadership, elected officials need to listen to the people.
Unfortunately, we know that the stories of race-based policing are nothing new.
I didn't really understand what happened until later. Someone was like, oh, they thought you were breaking into that apartment because you shouldn't live in this neighborhood. But that was probably my first experience with it. And I was nervous. I had my hands in my pockets. No one gave me the talk at 11. Like, I hadn't had that before. But so I put my hands in my pockets, and like thinking back on it, I could have been shot.
I've never been pulled over, thank God. But I just always think, I'm like, what if I don't make it back home, or I don't do the right things? And that's a conversation that I haven't had to have with my parents. Like, if a Black woman got pulled over, what would I do?
Calls for police reform are happening across the nation. Among them, a call to defund the police. So we had to ask, what does it really mean?
That term itself is very misleading, not clearly defined. Montgomery County has 1,300 police officers in a county of 1.1 million people. And per ratio to our citizens and community members, that is a very low number. So when we talk about defunding the police, one piece is, less officers, another may mean taking money from our budget to give to other, resources.
Here in Montgomery County, personnel and benefits make up 80% of the department's budget. The remaining funds cover operational costs, including training, which the chief says is essential in maintaining and building a force free of bias.
We train in culture diversity, and to really make people are aware of the different cultures that exist here in Montgomery County.
And I encourage my students to use their own critical thinking skills, to do research, to figure out where they want to be, what side of the issue they want to be on, or where they stand in terms of things like Black Lives Matter and the death of George Floyd. I take a day every month where we just talk about contemporary issues, and we compare them to the things that we've already learned up until that point, so that they can get a good solid foundation about what it is that we are learning about in the classroom.
We want to make sure that we're having our folks identify, taking a deep look into themselves to find out these biases, why they exist, and how can you correct that.
Montgomery County is responding proactively. This past July, the County Council passed legislation to restrict use of force by officers. County residents have been appointed to a policing advisory commission that will begin its work this fall. And a new task force will focus on the integration of more social and mental health capabilities.
There's lots of changes coming. I think that we're ready to adapt to as well, because the community, this is what they want. And so we're willing to work with them to really make it for better police and community relationship. One of the most important parts of really police community relationships is trust. And so for me, it's about having relationships with people in order for us to build a safer Montgomery County, and to have the ability to communicate with each other and understand each other. We talk about the biases, but we also have people have different views. But the reality is, as a police department, we have a mission, and everybody needs to be on the same page of that mission. That's important. but the individuals, which I'm equating to the fact that we're human beings. We're not robots. Every police officer doesn't react in the same way, and we want people to realize that. And the main thing is our officers are acting in a way that's within the policies and standards that have been established, not only by the police department but really demanded by our community and within the law and upholding the Constitution.
Social justice. The community is demanding it, and our county is responding. As you can imagine, there is so much more to this conversation, and this is why Outlook Montgomery will continue to talk about criminal justice, officer education, and efforts to create a police force free of social biases that are plaguing so many communities across this country. Interested in a criminal justice career? Visit montgomerycollege.edu/criminaljustice.